Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be walking through the stocks that I added to my portfolio in the month of February. Now I'm going to cover my buys, if we sold anything, and my reason behind any new additions. So let's dive straight into it. But just before we go and have a look to see what I've added, there is an opportunity for you to get free shares on Robinhood up to $175 worth of stock. Now, if you do want to do that and you haven't gone onto Robinhood so far, there'll be a link down in the description for you to sign up and get your free stocks today. So let's see what I've added. So as we can see, there's been no sales this month. I've decided that there's no stocks that are worth selling or trimming. Everything I'm going to show in today's video is all additions to the portfolio, which is a good thing for me. So February 2026 buys has been kicked off with Carnival Corporation. So I added just over 2 shares in Carnival for 69.44 average cost, which is roughly £51. So this is bringing my total shares up to 50.21274, with my total invested value now sits at $1,110, which is roughly £827. The value is up. It's at 1,575.59. Worth of recording, though, there is breaking news, and some stocks are actually falling. So the value has pretty much dropped as today, due to the Iranian war, which is a bit disappointing. But I still believe in the stocks. This is why we are covering what I add to the portfolio. Because since the last update in January, as mentioned, the stock has been traded lower, mainly due to broader concerns due to fuel costs in the cruise sector. It's been drifting down in February as well due to, like I say, oil prices, and everybody's moaning because they think that everyone's going to start cancelling their cruises because of the war. So, it's a bit volatile at the minute, and due to Norwegian saying that the outlook from other cruise companies is not looking good. But despite this short-term noise, I still think Carnival is a solid cruise company. I really think it is. It's rock solid for me. The cruise bookings are going up and up. They've bringing in new, more efficient cruise ships, and they're even making more progress to reduce the debt, which is also bringing in support to reinstate the dividend. So for me, that's why Carnival Corporation is going to keep getting added. I really want to try and get to 100 shares in Carnival Corporation. I think that is pretty much probably where I want to aim to be. So that's where we are going to go. Once again, we're going to be adding to Pets at Home. So I've bought another 33.64 shares. Total amount is $100 into there, which brings the total shares up to 71.44, with a total invested of $200. The value has dropped though to $184, so a bit lost on there. So since my January update, the company has been navigating a challenging consumer environment in the UK, where inflation and softer pet owner spending weighed in on retail sales. Profit in the retail segment had fallen, but as we mentioned in January, the Pets Home is still trying to roll out the turnaround plans to boost performance. On the positive side, the company has once again tried to continue share backs, reducing total shares and potentially supporting earnings per share over time. However, I still think Pets at Home remain a mix of opportunity, but just remember to be caution. Strong areas like these, because vets services and loyalty schemes are actually helping Pets at Home make some revenue profit. Now, I just want to mention as well, do not copy me straight away just because I buy these companies or these stocks and shares. I have gone in and done research. I've gone to do my risk evaluation, and I'm comfortable with that. And I'm not a financial expert. I will get things wrong. So please do your own research. Your capital is always at risk when investing. So please, once again, do your own research before investing in your own money. So we have a new add though to the portfolio, and that is Meta Platforms. Yes, that is Meta. So we just added a 0.1539 shares with a total amount of $100 invested into that. So the total shares, of course, it's a new add. So the only shares we've got is what we've just added to. So for me, Meta is just isn't just a social media platform. It's a revenue machine, and I'm going to go over that in a little bit later on once we've covered the last ad of our portfolio, and that is Booking Holdings. That's right. So BKNG ticker, Booking Holdings. We added 0.02396. I know that seems very small, but it's a total amount of $100. So Booking Holdings is a travel powerhouse with strong growth, and I will explain that shortly. But I think, as mentioned with Carnival, I still like, once again, this goes on with it lines up nicely with Carnival. I think Booking Holdings, because I believe there's a lot of people out there that still want to go on holidays. They still want to get away from their own countries. Especially in the UK, like we work, Monday to Fridays, sometimes over the weekend, and you just go, oh, I can't wait to book my holiday off because I just want to go out. Just want to go somewhere, just feel, free. So I still think, there's still going to be a high percentage of gross bookings, and that's why I've gone for a new ad in Booking Holdings. So just once again, if you haven't seen the first video in January, I use stock events to track my portfolio. It helps me provide real-time updates and all that. This isn't sponsored by any chance, but I'm just saying, just for people who want to know what I use, I do use stock events as well for the dividend tracker as well. So that is what I use. I know a lot of people use Snowball, but just for me, stock events, it's free, and I just think it's so easy to use. So February total buys and sells. So there was no sales. So the total buys is $369.44, which comes to about roughly £274. So it's not a bad month for portfolio additions. It's higher in terms of buys than I normally do. I try normally to go for about $100, $200, but there was good opportunity, especially with a bit of a sell-off on the month of Feb. So why did I add Meta? Well, I added Meta because, once again, it's not a social media giant. It's more of a long-term growth story, I think, because they're very diversified. Diversified? I think that's a word. They got loads of options. I think that's, my English is always bad, or certain words. I do apologise. So over the past year, revenue grew to roughly about 23.79%, and over the 5 years, it maintained a solid 16.36 annual growth. So it's not shown it's a one-hit wonder. There's like loads of stocks out there that go, oh yeah, I've grown 30%, but then next year they only do like 4%, 2%, and people wonder why it gets absolutely destroyed because they're not growing. But Meta is. So revenue per user has also jumped just over 28% over the last 2 years, showing that each user is more engaged and spending more. Even the free cash flows are extremely healthily, growing about 10% over the year one. Over 2 years, it's about 12%, and over the whopping 10 years, it's about 21.39%. So even though Meta is growing, there is a bit of concern that Meta is also heavily investing in AI, virtual reality, and the metaverse, which could unlock new revenue streams, which I kind of like the risk for. And for me, this combination of consistent revenue growth, strong cash flow, and innovation makes it a key long-term holding for me, and especially gives me some exposure into technology because I haven't actually got any in my portfolio. Now, let's get on to Booking Holdings. So it's another addition because for me, it's a leader in travel and online bookings. Over the 5 years, revenue has surged to 31.69%, with gross bookings growing over to 38%. This is showing, once again, a strong consumer demand. Like I say, I just think it lines up nicely with Carnival, and a lot of people would like to go on holiday. Even during short-term fluctuations, 1 year and 2 year revenue growth is still strong at about 13 to 12%, demonstrating the stability, with free cash flow growth is impressive, with 15% over the year one and nearly 12% over 10 years. With travel trends rebounding globally and tech-driven convenience for users, I just think this Booking holds represents both growth and resilience. Because as well, not just holidays, there's people at work. There's people I know that live in the UK, and their work sometimes requires them to travel to like Sweden, Switzerland, all these other places. So, where would you go? Well, you have to go on booking.com to book your hotel, book your flights, and that's how they're going to make their money. So that is why I've added these type of stocks in the month of Feb. I hope you enjoyed the portfolio update. I thought I'd give you some insights into my thought process and why I added certain stocks. Also, don't forget to check out the Robinhood link in the description for your free shares. If you do want me to do a deep dive on Booking and Meta, then of course let me know and I'll get out a separate video for them. I probably will do so just so you guys know what I am looking at and why I am adding these stocks to the portfolio. But hope you guys enjoy, and if you did, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next Weekly Mouse Investor video. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one.